Friday's jobs numbers showed the unemployment rate down, even though only 63.6% of the working age population have jobs. And that, by the way, is the lowest level since 1981.
Our next guest wonders, when did it become okay for Americans not to work? Joining us now is Gary Shapiro, who's the president and CEO of the Consumer Electronics Association. So when did it become okay?
Well, over the last 40 or 50 years, I think we've had a national attitude change from the days when President Kennedy said, ask what you can do for your country rather than what your country can do for you, to now it is what can you get out of your country and what type of check. It's an attitude change. It's going from contribution to entitlement.
But Gary, is this a mark of an attitude change, or is this the recession? I mean, many of these people want to work but can't find a job.
Well, it's both. Certainly there are 3 million jobs that are open, and we have a disconnect between the skills of those that are looking for jobs and the jobs that are open, and also maybe a regional disconnect. But people are refusing to take jobs below them. Why should they? They get 2 years of unemployment compensation payments, and there's very little incentive at this point to take a job below your rank. We have aid to parents of dependent children, encouraging young teenagers to high school and have babies, encourages the fathers to go away, and we've created all these well-meaning laws to hurt really needy people, have somehow become encouragements and incentives for people not to do what they really should be doing to contribute to society.
And the number that Ali talked about a moment ago is interesting, that workforce percentage. If the workforce was the same today as it was when the president came in office, our unemployment rate would actually be 11.1%. It's not, of course. It's 8.1%. Sounds pretty good. What's behind that?
What's behind that is the fact that we have 1 million or so more Americans in the workforce, or available for the workforce, that are not, and the jobs aren't there. We've had very, very slow job growth, and that 8% number is so misleading. It really is probably over 20% if you count the people that you have to add the people that haven't looked for a job in the last 4 weeks, or that never entered the employment pool, that are just, for one reason or another, just not working.
But really quickly, sorry to interrupt you, this is a number that's been going down for a decade. It's not just in Obama's 3 years. Is this part of the natural progression of baby boomers beginning to retire?
No, I think it's a number that's going down because our attitude has changed as a country, frankly, towards work. People try to get out of it. We have leadership which doesn't encourage work. We have Nancy Pelosi who's making statements like it's good the health care law is good because you can quit your job. Or she said that it's good that we have a record number of people on welfare and food stamps. And you have President Obama, who ran as a candidate 4 years ago talking about self-reliance, but lately he's totally shifted to you're entitled to these low-interest loans as students, no matter what. You're entitled to this. It doesn't matter what you major in, whether there's a job waiting for you or not. You are entitled to these loans. And, it's time we as a nation put it on our adult pants, and we realize that we don't have the money to pay for all these entitlements, and we're hurting people. What I would suggest, rather, is that if you're going to get a check from the government has a right to require something. They have a right to require you to volunteer at a nonprofit and maybe build up your skills, do something for society without a lot of paperwork, and that could be something which is tied in anything after a few weeks of unemployment compensation.
Gary, that is a make-sense solution. Thanks so much for coming in and giving us your perspective this morning.
Thank you.
All right, up next.